Tomorrow is Columbus Day, and the holiday will be observed on Monday. It marks 522 years since the Italian navigator put the New World on the map. For many Americans, that means a welcome three-day weekend, but some are taking a stand on Columbus Day represents the beginning of the end for Native ways of life in the Americas. They want to rename the holiday. We are joined now by the author of the Don't Know Much series of history books, historian Kenneth C. Good morning.
Good morning. Always a pleasure.
So why now? We've known a lot of these things for a while.
We have known a lot of these things now. It's interesting to go back and look. It's the way we change the way we treat history. In 1892, Columbus was a symbol of progress and enlightenment. That's what the president said at the time. There was an exposition called the Columbian Exposition, which actually was better known as the Chicago's World's Fair. Columbus was seen as this idea of exploration and discovery and bringing things to the so-called New World, and it skipped the dark side of the story, that his arrival really marked the end of life for tens of millions of Native Americans, who he, by the way, misnamed Indians.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't really a very nice guy, is the
No,
point.
he wasn't. He immediately saw that he could put these people to work. There was forced labor. The punishments were pretty draconian. Mm-hmm. He would chop off hands. He would crucify the natives if they didn't produce their quota of gold.
How then, Kenneth, did this actually end up being a day? I mean, a holiday here?
Interesting. Well, partly it's the way we like to tell history as a story of pride and patriotism,
right.
And somebody has an agenda. And so in 1892, it was a big deal for America. By 1934, when it became a national holiday, the Knights of Columbus, an Italian-American organization, really had the political clout to get it named as a holiday that still celebrated those ideas of progress and enlightenment. It's only later on that the scholarship showed how terrible this arrival really was for the Native American people.
In the context of the time period, you can understand why the version was started. But why was this sanitized version of Christopher Columbus, why did it continue to be passed down?
Because we like to have a sanitized version of history. We're even still fighting over that today in America. Who tells the story? Mm-hmm. We just had a fight over this in Colorado, where a school board wanted a history that leaves out civil discord and civil disobedience. But we can't tell history that way. That's not what history is really about. We have to tell the dark and the good side of the story, and that's certainly what I've always tried to do. It's a lot more interesting that way.
So now there's this discussion about, as we see a movement already afoot in a number of places, to rename the day and sort of repurpose it, if you will. I'm not sure I'd call it Indigenous Peoples Day. I might send that back to the marketing department, but...
Well, it's certainly caught on in Berkeley, California, and I believe Seattle. Another state calls it Native Americans Day. Some people have tried to go for Discoverers Day, that we should celebrate the idea of discovery and exploration, which is a notable idea. But I think it's always a good way to say, let's talk about what this really meant, who Columbus was, what his arrival actually meant. We're talking about Ebola right now. Columbus also introduced the diseases that probably wiped out most of the Native American people. So interesting connections of past to present.
Always fascinating. Kenneth C. Davis, thanks so much for being here.